I believe this is an earthball, not a puffball, y'all. Very important to know the difference. The earthballs are poisonous. I could maybe take this and check it out. Feels pretty light even though it's been raining. Perfect example. On a young puffball, you're going to have white. And on these, as you can see, they're like a dark gray. And there's an indicator that it's not a puffball, y'all. And when puffballs turn green, their spores get old and turn green. You cut into them, they're going to be spongy and soft. Now these right here, these are firm. Like they're not spongy. That's relatively fresh, okay? The puffballs are going to be more spongy and soggy on the inside when they are old. So if you get one that's like that, and you can even hear it like, that just snaps apart. That's still young. Young puffballs have white spores. Alright, y'all, these are actual puffballs. As you can see, I believe this is the gem-studded puffball. You can see this texture on the outside of it. And these are various degrees of age. And I'm going to cut all these open, and you can see the difference between them. Alright, so this is a younger one. It's getting a little old. You can see at the bottom of the base where the stem is. It's got that brownish color. Then you can see the inside up at the top is still white. Alright, so you can see this one. The spores are starting to turn green as it gets more mature. You can see that spongy texture I'm talking about earlier. Alright, so this one's starting to turn rotten as the spores mature and the mushroom rots. You can see it turns really spongy and gross on the inside. Not black or dark gray. That's a key feature. You don't want to mix those up if you're searching for puffballs. You don't want to get a scleroderma or an earthball by accident. Here's that olive green color of old spores. As the spores mature, they're going to turn that green. Alright, you can see this one. It just kind of like pushes in because it's really old. You don't want to eat them when they're like this, by the way. You only want to eat them if the inside flesh is still white. As you can see, these are very nasty. With puffballs, you also want to make sure that it's solid on the inside. And there's not a miniature mushroom as people describe. Because that is an egg sac of an amanita or a young amanita forming. You do not want to mix those up because they are poisonous for the most part. Alright, so this is the youngest one. And you can see that white on the inside as I'm talking about. It's solid all the way through. Alright, so there's the array of mushrooms. All gem-studded puffballs, various ages. I found these all at around the same time. But as you can see, we have the solid white of the young. And then as we go further down the line, we're going to see the spores on the inside start to turn green. And you do not want to confuse this with a scleroderma if you're hunting for mushrooms. They grow on the ground. Both of them do, so you have to be careful. This isn't a comprehensive identification guide, so, just be careful and do your research before you want to eat any wild mushrooms. So yeah, just be careful and whatnot. You can see that sponginess I was talking about that the young sclerodermas do not have. You may get confused because the sclerodermas could grow in the same area as the puffball. You may confuse an old puffball with a scleroderma, and you just want to make sure that it's not that. The scleroderma also has a tough outer skin that the puffball does not have. So if you break these apart with your fingers, you can like kind of see that the flesh just kind of like rips apart normally, whereas the scleroderma, it's gonna have that like crunchy pop when you break it apart, like I showed in the earlier video. Well, thank you very much. Bye.